Motor, J Motor, J Motor, J Motor, recognize Heckler House, Heckler House. Oh, 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 oh.
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Thomas back again with another rendition of Truth Be Told. Now, nothing major to report on as far as news goes. Again, same old, same old. You got people trying to stop Trump from doing his duty to the American people, which they wanted. Democrats are going nuts because they know they're in trouble. I did see a little clip where Trump has put that ban on men entering women's sports, and he went up to Maine, and the governor tried to have it out with him, and he said, listen, you're either going to do what you're told to do, or we're going to make you do it. That's the law. And she's all like, I'll see you in court. And he's all like, okay, sure. Why not? That's going to be an easy win, because he's right. She's going against the Constitution and the law, so it's her ass. He told her, you're not going to be governor anymore. So we'll see. We'll see. Thought it was funny. Anyways, that's the only thing major I saw. People are trying to bring up the whole St. Clair Elon baby drama BS. There's literally people trying to defend her too. Most aren't, but there's a few trying to defend her. You know, when she literally set the whole thing up. You know, she planned everything, and now she's trying to sue him. Like, get the fuck out of here. You know, and they wonder why men don't want to deal with women, because there's too many women that do that crap. They're shady. They pull shit. Modern women. Anyways, she just wanted attention. She's an attention whore. Let's get to what I really wanted to talk to you about. Now, before I get into a series I just got done watching, understand that it only takes a few seconds to hit that subscribe button. It doesn't affect you or your channel. It just helps my channel to grow. So I would appreciate it if you went ahead and subscribe. Even if you don't really watch the channel, it's not going to harm anything. Not going to affect you in any way. So you're just helping me grow my channel. I do have another channel. It's in the about section, and the link is there. Basically, I go in there and I do reactions and reviews to YouTube channels, and I've been doing a game vlog. So if you like retro games, you can go there and check it out. Let's get on to what I was going to talk to you about. So they just did the last season of Cobra Kai, and I've watched all the seasons. I think this was season 5 or 6. I'll have it after I do this video. But I think it's season 6. I may be wrong. May have just been 5 seasons. But anyways, this last season that they've done kind of wraps everything up. Like almost halfway through, a little over, they make it to where this kid dies in the tournament. And then, of course, to find out what happens, you had to. I hate that stupid let's take a mid-season break bullshit. That you never had that until, about what, 7 years ago or so, and then they started that bullshit. You never had that. And the episodes always lasted like 20 some episodes. It wasn't like 8 episodes, then we're done. It was so dumb. Anyways, what's her face? The Cobra Kai girl, the blonde. They try to make her like she's this really good looking chick, and she's not. I don't find her hardly attractive at all. And what happened to the chick that played Russo? I mean, she turned into a fatty. But anyway, they're trying to make them out like they're good looking chicks, and they're not. Apparently they're besties now all of a sudden. The blonde chick that plays Robbie's girlfriend, she betrayed Miyagi-Do or whatever. And then, she's trying to get back in her good graces again. Or she basically just doesn't care. You have this new team called, what are they called? Stone Dragons or some shit like that. There's some European team that I can't think of the bad guy's name. The guy with the white hair, he put them together, the rich dude. Apparently he's dying in this season. But after the kid dies in the tournament, they've already have their top picks. John Kreese goes back and sees his old mentor, which is like an evil Korean dude or whatever. I think they're Korean. Evil Korean dude who has a daughter who eventually ends up taking over. She ends up killing her father to take it over. Because of the way he was running things, he was hurting the kids, and she didn't like it. John Kreese, he eventually makes up with Johnny Lawrence. I'm kind of trying to mend that gap. He ends up killing the white-haired dude or whatever on his boat, blows him up. That's the end of that story arc. Johnny Lawrence, the blonde chick, she's the only one left of Cobra Kai. Miyagi-Do bows out of the tournament against the Iron Dragons. That's it. The Iron Dragons is what they're called. The two from Spain or whatever. Anyways, in order for her to compete in the last fight, she has to have a sensei. So Johnny Lawrence, he goes back to Cobra Kai with Miguel, so Miguel can compete too, because Bobby can't compete. They broke his leg. Go figure. Doesn't sound familiar at all. Anyways, so Miguel, which really irritated me because I didn't think Miguel should have been at the end of the trial. I thought it should be Bobby, so they could better mend things between, you know, him and his father. Miguel should not have been at the end doing that. He should have taken a back seat. Anyways, it was Miguel against the other dude, and he wins, of course. Well, he doesn't win, they tie. And the blonde chick and the other chick, the really good looking hot chick, they go at it. And the blonde chick beats her, of course. Anyways, the two guys, they tie. So, in order to break the tie, the two senseis have got to go at it. So Johnny's got to fight the other dude. And of course he wins, he got his second chance at winning the tournament, He's always been down about the fight between Lorenzo and him, even though they're best friends now. Anyways, they got rid of the whole Miyagi-Do. They got rid of it. They all joined Cobra Kai. All of them. Chosen, Russo, all of them. They all became Cobra Kai at the very end. Because they're going to restart Cobra Kai with Johnny as the main sensei. Russo buys out the old dojo that Johnny Lawrence had and turns it into Cobra Kai. So that Johnny and Lorenzo can continue teaching Cobra Kai or karate. Now, because he said Miyagi-Do stands for something else completely, even though they mix in the Miyagi-Do with the Cobra Kai now. Chosen goes to be with his woman in Korea, the old Cobra Kai. He goes to stay with her. That's pretty much the end of the series. So it was okay. I didn't mind it for the most part. I just, like I said, the only part that I didn't really care for is I thought Robbie should have been at the end, not Miguel. It just didn't fit right. What was the other thing? Other than that, I liked the show. Like I said, I watched the whole entire series. It's a good series. They did it right, where almost every other show that tries to do a continuation screws it up. They actually did it right. You didn't see a whole bunch of woke nonsense. Yeah, there was a little bit, but not enough to really focus on. Now I don't know really. I'll probably watch that Legends movie. Where Jackie Chan shows up and asks Ryoso to help him teach Miyagi-Do to the Chinese kid that he's teaching. Why? It should be an American kid. That's what the Karate Kids are about, is an American kid, not a Chinese kid. I really didn't care for the remake of the Karate Kid, where Jackie Chan's teaching Jaden Smith or whatever. I thought it was dumb. I didn't care for it. I think that this one's going to screw things up. If Jackie Chan was teaching an American kid and then went to Ryoso, that would be different. But it's not. It's him over in China again. I don't care about going to China and seeing him fight in China. Why are they using karate in China? They don't do karate. They do kung fu. So it's kind of dumb. Anyways, I'll probably watch it anyway. I don't think I'm gonna like it. Anyways, that's it. Let's get on, or check out the series Cobra Kai. You won't be disappointed. Really good continuation. Alright. I don't know where they go from there, if they ever do. Let's get on to your B-movie reviews. So, movie holics, this week is Action Week. Now, I did a couple action movies that one of my subscribers suggested. He's all the time wanting me to do action stuff. He doesn't give me suggestions for anything else, just action, which is fine. You know, I don't know a whole lot of the older action movies, like the B-rated and underrated movies from back in the day. So I kind of appreciate his help, to be honest. Yeah, I could look it up and find something, but it's kind of cool when my subscribers, you guys, my viewers, make suggestions. Most generally, I'm probably going ahead and watch and review them for you. Now, I just chose two of the suggestions that he offered, even though he offered more than one. He suggested some Burt Reynolds movies, because back in the day, Burt Reynolds was a pretty decent action star. I mean, he did a lot of other stuff, but he did westerns, he did comedies and stuff like that, but I prefer the action comedies that he did. I'm not a big fan of the straight up action movies. Some of them are okay, but I prefer, like, even though I've watched a ton of them, I'm not a big fan of Chuck Norris, and he just mainly does straight up action flicks. I'm not a big Norris fan. The guy can't act. The only reason why some of his movies are good is because of his supporting actors, his co-stars. Now, also to the subscriber who suggested these, I've also watched several Burt Reynolds movies and done reviews on them. The ones that he doesn't know about, I also did, like I told him pretty much most of the ones I've reviewed, like Cop and a Half, the Smokey and the Bandits, you know. But I've also done White Lightning and Gator, which Gator is the name of the character, but that's also the sequel to White Lightning. Those were okay movies too, but I've done reviewed all them. So I went with the first one called Deliverance which was done in 1972 and made about 46 million worldwide. And you had a pretty decent starring cast. John Voight, Ned Beatty, and Rooney Cox. You know, these are decent actors. John Voight's pretty well known. The other two, they're known, but they're not. They didn't make the superstar grade as Bert and John did. Now Bert, he wasn't like a super well-known star at the time. John was, but not Bert. Basically, the movie's supposed to be about them going on a canoeing trip, 4 buddies, and they run across some hillbillies who are trying to kill them. Now, there's a thing that really irritates me whenever I see these movies where they make hillbillies look like they're all... You can't go out in the country because hillbillies, they're all violent and they want to kill you, and they're all inbreds and they all deformed, and that's such bullshit. Hollywood has done them wrong. Most hillbillies are not deformed. There's not a bunch of incest, and they're actually really nice people. Like, they take care of each other. It's not like anything like they try to prevail in the movies. Absolutely the complete opposite. Anyways, that's what they tried to do with this one too. So at the very beginning, they show up and they talk to some hillbillies, and they get a couple of them to drive their vehicles to the end of the river where they'll come out from canoeing. They start canoeing, and when I read the synapse on this, it's trying to say that, you know, a bunch of hillbillies are trying to kill him. Like, they meet a bunch of them and then they all try to kill him. That's not what happens. At the very first, they meet some hillbillies, but it's not those aren't the ones that try to kill him. They get down the river about halfway, and 2 of them are ahead. You know, 2 of them are in one canoe, and then you have 2 in the other canoe. Burt Reynolds is in the latter. John Voight and Ned Beatty, they're ahead of him. They pull off ahead of him. And I don't know if they're taking a piss break or whatever. They really only there for a minute when they notice 2 guys in the woods, one with a shotgun. Well, they just walk up to him. They're friendly, you know, trying to talk to him friendly, when they pull the shotgun on him. Like they're being dicks, these hillbilly guys. These 2 guys. There's just 2 guys, 2 random guys. It wasn't even part of the group at the very beginning of the movie. So anyway, these 2 guys, they proceed... Well, one of them proceeds to S.A. Ned Beatty's character. Like, you could tell what's going on. It don't really get in graphic and show you what's going on, but you could tell what's going on. He tells him to pull off his clothes, and he has his way with him. And the whole time he's telling him to squeal like a pig. Wee, wee. You know, that kind of thing. Anyways, they're getting ready to sexually... The other guy, he gets ready to sexually assault John Voight by making him get on his knees. And he starts to undo his pants. Well, John Voight sees Burt Reynolds, and Burt Reynolds has come into the shore, and he's holding a bow and arrow, and he's aiming at the dude. But instead of hitting the guy that was getting ready to pull his pants down, he hits the other guy that sexually assaulted Ned's character, because he puts an arrow through him because he's holding the shotgun. Well, the other guy, he tries to grab the shotgun, but Ned, I think it was Ned. No, it might not have been Ned. I think maybe it was John Boy. He wrestles the shotgun from him. One of them does. And then the guy takes off running. Now, Ned kind of, he don't want to talk about it. But he's not, he's not okay with it, but he's being chill about it. He's not being hysterical like most typical women would be if they were SA'd. He's not, he just can't believe it happened. So they get him his clothes back, and they get them all back in the boats. But they figure they need to take the dead guy with them and bury him. And they take a vote on it, and they go and they bury him. What is his name? Ronnie Cox, his character, he can't handle it. He thinks they need to go see the law and blah blah. And Burt Reynolds is like, no, if we go see the law, they're going to give us a trial. They're probably going to give us a trial by our peers, which is not going to be our peers. We're not from here. They're going to have a bunch of hillbillies who are probably related to each other, and they're going to convict us of murder, even though they attacked us. They're not going to see it that way. They're going to see it as, hey, you killed one of us. Now we're going to have your ass. And he's right. So they all agreed to go bury the dude. But like I said, Ronnie Cox's character, he can't handle it. If for whatever reason, it's the dumbest thing. They're going down a river, and he just decides he's going, end his life and just jumps out of the boat or falls out of the boat. He does it on purpose. And Bert thinks that somebody shot him. But that's not what happened. He just gave up. Because he wouldn't put on his life jacket. They were all telling him to put his life, he wouldn't do it. He just like, I can't do this, and drops out of the boat, ends himself. But Bert convinces the other two that the other guy shot him from out on top of the high cliffs. Now, they go over a waterfall into a gorge, and it screws up the boats. The canoe, one canoe just totally falls apart. Luckily, the other one stayed together. But Bert gets hurt, and John's idea, instead of continuing on down the river, he suggests that he goes climbing to the top of the rock face and confront this other guy. Now, this other guy, for whatever reason, however, he does end up showing up, and he has another shotgun. Like, they already got rid of the first one, but now he went and got another one, I guess. Well, John's character has this thing about taking life. He's not a hunter, even though he tries to be one. Well, he starts to shoot this guy, but he starts shaking really bad. He's not sure if he can do it. And then the guy shoots at him, and he screws up, and he kind of lets go of the arrow as he's falling, and he thinks he's dead because the guy walks up, he starts to shoot him, but then the guy he falls over dead as he's shooting, and he realizes the arrow is through his chest, so he did shoot him. But when John's character falls, he gets an arrow through his side, so he pokes himself, or injures himself. But whatever, the guy's dead. And I don't know why he does this. It makes no sense. Instead of just throwing him over into the gorge, he wraps him up in rope and lowers him down. And then when he's trying to climb down the rope as well, it snaps and breaks and he falls down with the body. He's already tossed the gun and the broken bow or whatever. It just made no sense. Anyways, they put weights on the guy, tie him up with the rope, part of the rope, to let him sink. And then they head on down the river. They put Bert in the middle, which he's passed out. And they go down the rest of the river, and they find their buddy, played by Ronnie Cox, and he's all bent up and broken. You can tell his bones are broken and stuff. They do the same thing. They tie ropes to him and some rocks and sink him as well. And then they end up going way down the river. They come up with the story, so in case they're asked about it, this is their story and they're sticking to it, kind of thing. So they get to the place where their vehicles should have been delivered for them. And then the cops show up and they tell them all that's happened, blah, blah, blah. And the sheriff, he tells them, you guys need to leave once you get healed up and don't ever come back. I don't care what happened. We've drugged that river. We can't find any bodies. We know there was 2 other guys up in them hills, because one of the deputies or whatever that works for the sheriff, he's all like, my brother-in-laws are missing, blah, blah, blah. They disappear about the same time these guys showed up. So he knows something's going on, he just don't know what. But they're claiming they never ran into anybody while they were canoeing. They just had a boat accident and they lost a friend in the river. But that's the story they stuck to, and he knows something's going on, and he just tells them, don't ever come up here again. Don't even think about it. You stay where you live. So that's the end of the movie. Now this is supposed to be a big movie for Burt Reynolds. It's supposed to catapult him to stardom, supposedly, from what I read online. And I was all like, well, it's not even really, even though it claims it's an action flick, it's not really an action flick. You have one scene where Burt shoots an arrow in somebody, and then John Voight shoots an arrow in somebody. But the rest of the time, it's literally just drama. It's a movie, a drama movie. There was no real action in this movie at all. I found it kind of boring. I know there's lots of people who like this movie, but I've seen the ranking charts and shit of this movie, and a lot of people that like Burt Reynolds thought this was his best movie. I didn't. I mean, it was okay for what it was, but it wasn't action. It was drama. And it was kind of boring, to be honest. I think the reason why it got so much acclaim is because at the time, you know, they were being controversial in the 70s with the whole grape scene. You know, Ned Betty getting graped. I think that's the reason why this movie was such a big deal back then, because it was, honestly, I found it kind of boring. Burt Reynolds really didn't do anything. Half the movie, he's got an injured leg and he's laying in a canoe. So, I don't know. John Voight did more than he did, which isn't saying much. But it's okay for a one-time watch. I give it a thumbs up and thumbs down. It's okay. It's not that great. Now, the next Burt Reynolds movie I watched was done in 1987, and it made about 16 million worldwide. And it's called, another suggestion by a subscriber, it's called Rent A Cop. Now, this movie, this is an action movie. This was action. It had quite a bit of action in it. Burt Reynolds, of course. Liza Minnelli is in this as the leading lady. James Remar played the bad guy. You might recognize him, although I almost didn't. He's really young in this. And then I really like Bernie Casey. He's not really Bert's partner, but he kind of is. He's the black guy in the movie. I like the way he talks and shit. He's a great actor. But anyways, the movie basically, they're doing a bust at the very beginning of the movie, and it goes sideways. They're after this huge drug lord, and they're trying to put a sting on one of their meetings between, exchanging drugs and money. Well, this, James Remar's character is called Dancer. That's his code name. Anyways, he shows up and he just starts blowing everybody away, and he steals the money and the drugs. He runs into Liza Minnelli, but he doesn't do anything to her at first. But later on, when he's trying to get out, he tries to take her as a hostage, which doesn't work. She runs into Burt, which everybody that in the room that he was in has died, except for him. The guy hit this guy that was in front of him instead and missed him. But anyways, he starts shooting at Burt, and Burt grabs the woman and shoots at him, and then jumps back in the room. Now, through the rest of the movie, Liza Minnelli's character, she is a prostitute, a woman of the night. But she wants Burt, which his character's name's Church. She's all like, you saved my life. I'll pay you. I want you to be my bodyguard. Protect me, because this guy is still trying to kill me. Now, before she does this, makes this offer to him, Dancer does try to stab her randomly. He walks by and then he's got like this pick or whatever, and he tries to stab her in the back and kill her, but it doesn't work. So she goes to Burt and asks him to protect her. Now, through the rest of the movie, Burt's trying to protect her, while trying to figure out what all's going on, who this guy is, why it was important. And then he later finds out that this guy works for the drug dealer which just happens to be a cop who employs ex-cops to be mercenaries. But this dancer guy, he's nuts. He's crazy. And he goes in there and he kills his boss. But he's also going to kill Liza Minnelli. He takes her to his boss because his boss won. But then he kills his boss instead. And then she gets away. And he's all like, I'm going to kill you too, you know. But while he's trying to chase her down, Bert shows up and they get into it. The young guy, Bert had called the young guy and the black guy to show up for backup. The young guy, he gets hit. Bert puts a flash grenade inside the helmet of Dancer. Dancer's wearing like this motorcycle helmet with like an antenna or something. It's just weird looking. Anyway, it blows up in his helmet and kills him. And then the black guy shows up at the very end after the dude's already dead, after they did all that work. He just randomly shows up at the very end, you know, because he said he was going to go around back. That whole time he couldn't have ran in there and helped him out. He waits until he's dead before he goes. I just thought that was kind of funny. And he puts his foot on him and puts the gun over him. And they ask, is he dead? He's like, I would say so. He ain't got no head. You know, it was ridiculous. That's pretty much the end of the movie. Those two, Liza Minnelli and Bert's character, supposedly get together at the very end. That's the end. This was a pretty good movie. It was decent. I liked it. I give it 2 thumbs up for an action flick. You know, just a regular shoot 'em up action flick. It was pretty decent. It was all right. Again, don't hate me, Sal, because I didn't like Deliverance. I didn't think it was that good of a movie. It was boring to me. You know, if I'm going to watch an action movie, I want some actual action in the movie. And a little comedy thrown in, like Rent A Cop had some comedy in it. So, that I like. I like action comedies. Okay, so that's all I have for you this week. If you have any thoughts about what I talked about earlier in the video, please leave your thoughts down in the comment section down below. If you can think of any underrated or B movies or movies you think I may never ever have heard of or seen, please leave your suggestions down in the comment section down below, and I'll get to review them as soon as I can. Now, it doesn't have to be just action. It can be any genre, except for westerns and dramas. I don't, or in musicals. Not my thing. Those are not my types of movies. Sci-fi, fantasy, action, horror. Any of those genres, leave your suggestions down in the comment section down below. Okay. So, I told you be told the truth, and you just been told.